I just moved in. The neighbors didn't come speak or anything like that for a while until they saw that we were safe.
Yeah.
You know?
Never mind the fact that you could afford to move into that neighborhood.
Yeah, but now we're safe. Now they want to bring cookies, and I throw all that shit out. I'm not eating.
It took you too long. It took you too long.
We're here 6 months now. You want to bring me some cookies? Fuck you, ain't you?
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us this week. Welcome to Manhood Matters. We are having conversations around challenges dominating a man's journey through life. Now, these topics, they are explored by real, everyday friends with a lot of experience. And we have the occasional expert guest. Let's get to it. All right. Welcome back. Let's go.
Hey.
Glad
everybody.
to be back.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, man.
Again, appreciate you guys as always.
Real quick, do you valet?
We validate.
That's how nice it is, right? You validate.
So today we're going to be talking about something that's like really important, right? How could we not? Right. So I'm your host, Stephane. We're sitting here really in the studio with Jabari saying this. We're not going to talk about sides, what you guys, who you voted for. That's nobody's business. We're going to talk about just how today's climate impacts us. I'll be honest as fuck, because I don't care, and within reason, respectfully, right? Because, I have my opinion on things. And what I really want to focus on is not necessarily an opinion. What we've dealt with, in our everyday lives, whether it's racism, whether it's, how it affects us maybe positively because certain policies might favor us because of our tax bracket, in fact, that we're commissioned salespeople, things like that. So there are different things that we can focus on. What's today? Today's the 10th?
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah.
So the November 10th,
It was on the 5th,
2024.
5 days ago.
5 days ago. So something recent happened. So I'm going to start the conversation with this. Was it what you expected?
No.
Okay, so since you said no, why did you not expect it? Because that's surprising to me because I actually expected it. So what is really?
Wow. Did you?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah,
100%.
I expected it as well.
100%.
Really?
I'm actually surprised at people who are upset. I'm surprised that they're appalled. I'm like, where the fuck were you like the past 6 months? It was obvious. The past 3.5 years. Because I'm going to say this real quick.
Well, even before that, a woman being elected president.
Well, it depends on who's running.
Yeah.
Because I still maintain that if Michelle was running, she never would, but I think she'd be president right now.
Yeah.
Right? There are certain women who could run.
And there's certain people out there, no matter what,
My thing
I
is,
could be president. They wouldn't want a woman to be president.
All defense, man. She just took over a campaign halfway in.
no.
That is a big...
No.
Yes?
No.
Yeah,
Well,
she did.
yeah, but that's true, which is a problem. So
It's like taking over keys to like a fucked up car, and you asked me to fix it in a race, and then I didn't do this to
here's
this
the
car.
thing. Here's the thing that we discussed though. Like my wife and I talk about this all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't watch the news. So maybe enlighten me, educate me.
Yeah.
But I don't know where she's been for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
She got elected. I don't know.
Hadn't seen it
Start
yet.
a program,
But
help
by-
some fat kids, do something so we know you're relevant. But I haven't seen you. There was no action. So again, it could be me, and I know some people are gonna murder me
I
for
ain't
saying
seen
this.
Trump either, though.
No, but
No.
Wait. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. Right. So we'll get to that because
Yeah.
you've seen him because
Yeah.
you've lived him and breathed him every single day. I don't know if you can't be
Former
around
president, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's
vice
pretty much
president, yeah.
right.
Well,
but
we'll look at Biden though, right?
He
was
loves the
VP.
camera.
He was just
he's always been relevant.
Yeah.
Trump has not gone away. Kamala was, to me, just like absent for 3.5 years.
that was
Like,
Biden.
what do you mean?
When with Obama. Obama was out there. Everybody knew Obama. He was
Right.
like, who's the vice president? It's that white guy. What's that white guy's name?
But really,
I don't know.
I feel like he didn't do a whole lot, but
He didn't need to do a lot because
But I
you
think
saw him
the-
like Batman and Robin every single
that's
time.
kinda
He
how
still
it's
had his
designed,
mind.
though. They're not to really come forward unless something happens to the president.
That's true, but
I think
there's
it's deeper than
still,
that, though.
There's still some noise that you make. There is still you still leave your mark on something. There needs to be some kind of, especially if you have aspirations to follow that path and at some point become president.
I think that happened. That happened by default. She didn't expect to ever run.
No, she could have turned it down. I mean,
Yeah.
she accepted it, and
Yeah.
That's the thing, dude.
But one thing I want to highlight that she's done. I mean, she raised $40 million in that short period of time that she had. you know.
Was it only 40 million? 40 million? I'm actually surprised. Actually,
I thought it
sounds
was
low.
40 million.
You mean a couple of days, maybe?
Yeah, a couple of days. I mean, she did something that I don't think anyone has done. So for that, I mean, it was a glimmer of hope that maybe she could win for me. But just knowing that the way that most people think and men think, they're not going to let a woman run anything like that.
She did a good job.
It depends on where you get those
halfway
votes.
knowing that she was going to be elected.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that's
Nominated.
Nominated, excuse me.
Yeah.
Not elected, but nominated. So I thought that was. I think the world is not prepared for that.
Yeah.
And I think that, like she said, her statement at Howard University was dope. Like she's like, we're not done yet. You know what I mean? In so many ways. So I'm excited. You know, I mean, you know, to see what's the future for America. You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That's a great point. But like, I guess because we could just like fucking attack every angle here, right? So so going back to what you said you were surprised actually. So like, can you expound on that a little bit?
So the point that I was trying to make, so before I answer that question, the point that I was trying to make before was I think why the VPs tend to be quiet is because if you have a president for 4 years and then let's say Obama, they win again, right? They get reelected. And then typically they're really not going to get back into power. So if you're a VP or trying to take over for that president, the kickback is going to be, well, you are just like this person. Yeah. You can be like, well, I'm not. You could see where Kamala was trying to distance herself from Joe Biden by saying, you know, oh, I didn't do certain things, but she can't talk shit about Joe Biden. Because at the same time, she was there.
You're the number two.
You were the number two. Like, where were you? Why you're not doing things? So that way, that's why I think a lot of the times your VPs are quiet. Yeah. Because if they try to then go for president, they can, oh, well, yeah, you know, I didn't support that. It may not have been public, but this is what I would have done. Right? So they can give this opinion of this is what I would have done. This is what I would have done versus like, I saw you standing right next to him when he made that policy, or I saw you do that when they did this. So you're clone number two. We don't want what we just had. We want something different.
And administration is always going to be looked at as a whole, right? So you can't really distance yourself whatsoever. I mean,
I think you can try to though.
You could try, but when people, like on the campaign trail, she would say things like, "I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," and they're like, "Why didn't you?" Even though that's not how it works,
because it wasn't my call.
An educated person knows this, right? But overall, even if it was just like your rally cry, saying certain things and say, hey, you know, we are working on this. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Keep in mind, the president makes decisions and then it has to get approved, right? It's not a dictatorship yet, right? It has to be approved. It has to go through the House. Point. Yeah, you know, it has to go through the House. It has to go through all of these things. I mean, when Obama was in office for the first 4 years, he couldn't get shit passed. Right? He couldn't get out of parking ticket. Right? So, you know, still make certain statements because you know that you have to be relevant. You know, this is going to sound crazy, but my opinion was Joe's old. And when Kamala got into office, I think she was thinking, I think I'm going to be president by default. Yeah, I'm going to inherit this.
Let me correct you there.
Kamala. What'd I say?
Kamala. Camel.
It's Kamala.
Mrs. Harris. No, I'm Hey, listen, you know, here's the thing, right? I'm not saying it wrong. I just have an accent. Y'all remember that.
That's right.
That's what it is. That's what it is. All right? Yeah. That's where I'm foreign. All right?
You're illegal.
Yeah, I'm here legally. Bro, this is not the age for you to be bringing shit like that up. This is not the age.
This will be our final episode before this.
All right, next time we're doing this, I'll be on Zoom. No shit, Skype
from an undisclosed location.
Doing Skype.
I think that she thought she was going to inherit this post. I can't say for sure what she thought, but
I thought that.
I thought
Joe was going to get reelected, and then he was going to step down like 6 months after the coronation, or whatever they do in January. Right. Be like, oh, health issues, I got to step down, and then boom, we got the first female president.
Yeah, I thought by default she was going to take it, but I did not think after being pretty much relevantly, just like in a way, relatively absent, that she could just step in 6 months into a campaign and go, oh, it's me now. Trump has never lost the hold and the grasp that he has on his base.
Which is crazy.
And his base could just keep getting bigger, and you have a lot of things going against Joe, I guess, in his entire administration. So that's why, to me, it was not surprising at all. I mean, you could always hope, but my expectations were pretty solid. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm like immersed in it. I'm here in the South. Well, we all are, but like everywhere that I would go, the Trump signs and the even the best people that I know with the best of intentions, because we can always question whether or not we think that Trump is an immoral person, whether, what are his standards and things of the sort, and the things that we can disagree with, whether I feel like he's a racist, but that's my personal opinion.
I think we all do.
Okay,
It's already been proved.
right? And it's clear based on things that he says, and sometimes I have to wonder, and whether or not he actually is, or if he plays people like the fiddle, because he knows what his base is capable of, and he knows how to get him wound up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
But sometimes it's almost like
it's ingrained in him. He's been that way forever.
yeah, and well, the entitlement is there, right?
Yeah.
Like as far as the way he's come up, but sometimes I feel like he can just play people, divide and conquer, and he's mastered that art,
Big
right?
time.
Right. So, regardless, I'm seeing people that I think are good people, that I feel are really good individuals. Like they want the same thing that we want for our families and our lives, and people that I think are full of love with zero hate for anyone, right? And still they're Trumpers, and I'm going, what? Where's the line drawn, right? At what point do you go, look, this is better for my money, this is better for my taxes, this is better for everything that I believe in, this is better for Bitcoin, this is better for everything else. But I cannot, in good conscience, vote for someone like that. He's a convicted felon. We still elected him. Where's the line to where you go, oh, this is where I go as a good person / Christian / whatever? At what point do I go, yeah, this is not a person I want to lead our country?
When it messes with their money, period.
That's really what it comes down to.
100%.
It just
Their ability to take care of their family and their mind. Because issues that are concerning us don't concern them. So they're like, at the end of the day, if my interest rate goes down so I can refinance on my home and have a smaller mortgage payment, right? Or if it's the crypto people, where that's going to moon and then I'm going to make all this money and now I can retire and I'm not going to work another day in my life, right? They're looking at it from purely, if this gentleman gets in the office, I'm going to have more money, and that's going to be better for myself and my family.
But see, I think
it.
that's
the only thing that they care about.
And I agree with you, but I think that's because of, they all got their hands in the way the market moves, I think,
Yeah.
So if a Republican is in office and the Republicans kind of really run the world, they can kind of dictate things how they want it to be anyway. Give me an example. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, their money went up. I think 26 million for one of them.
26 billion.
26 after
Elon.
the election. How could something in one day increase your income that
Significantly,
big?
yeah.
They made that happen because they can. Historically, the economy is better when a Republican is in office. That's by design. I don't think that is something that magically happens other than the fact that they control it.
I think if you dig deeper into that stat, and I could be pulling this completely out of my ass, is when you start removing regulations and you start taking the governors off and you let people do whatever the fuck they want to do, people are going to start making a lot of money. And then it's, we're making all this money. Interest rates are at COVID rates, right? Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, then inflation gets out of control. And you're like, my house value went up, 150% over the last 18 months. Everyone's excited because they're rich. But then a gallon of milk went from $2 to $5, right? So then, because it takes time for that stuff to slowly roll out. So then now you no longer have a Republican president. Now you've got a Democratic president. And they're like, we got to shut this shit down because inflation is going to get out of control. Because then a gallon of milk is going to be $10 and you're looking at me like I'm crazy. So now I'm going to fix the problem. Oh, now the interest rates are too high. And, now, it's hard for me to make this money that I was making before when this other guy was in office. But they're like, yeah, it was cool because you guys are having a party because our parents are gone. But now now you guys all left and I have to clean the house up before my parents get home before I get a ass whooping.
Let's ask this question. What did Trump really do in the 4 years that he was
He built the wall.
But
No, I'm kidding.
is it finished?
But what did he really? What,
He built like
what
that
did
much
he
wall.
really do? Because really, he came in under Obama administration, and that was Obama's economy that he was living, that we were living off of for a while. Those 4 years, he didn't do anything.
The best thing he did was at
Well,
the
maybe
end.
maintain, but I think that when it was a snowball and it was so big that it rolled through his 4 years, and people have the false illusion that it was because of him. That was because of Obama, I think. The people who voted for him just wanted the ability, because he gives this false narrative that you can say and do whatever you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he does. So the people that voted for him, that's really what they wanted. They wanted to be able to say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and not have a lot of repercussions behind it. My biggest fear is my son and other black boys that look like my son, because right now, or even us, right now, the police, if they beat us or pull us over, they can almost do anything, and he's trying to get it to where they don't have any consequences behind whatever they do to us.
He did say that. He did say pretty much, I want full immunity. If you kill me and I can't get home to my family, and I'm dead on the side of the road, and even though your body cam is going to show what happened, you're seeing the evidence and there's still no prosecution.
None.
You know, because,
that's
and even
my
if there
biggest
is, you're wearing that badge, well, you had to defend yourself, you had a hunch or whatever it may be, you cannot be prosecuted. The worst thing that could happen to you, you can get let go, but you're not going to jail. There will be no justice.
Another department go pick you up.
Correct.
And you just go over to the next town.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. You know, I'm a fan of the money and all that, money going up and all that good stuff, but I'm more concerned about that. You know, I'm fearful for my son.
Correct.
You know, I'm fearful for myself. You know, riding around, I could be speeding or whatever and get pulled over, and all of a sudden,
it should be a fucking ticket.
It should
That's
be a
it.
ticket.
You know, you're doing something wrong. You are breaking the law. Maybe you're going 56 and a 55. Okay, fuck it. Pull me over. Give me a ticket.
But they can make it whatever they want to make it.
At no point, and this is a conversation I had with a friend of mine, white guy, and we're cool. Like basically, but what I explained to him, I said, dude, there are conversations that I have to have with my son that you'll never have.
Right.
You don't need to. You can tell your son, hey, if you get pulled over, shut the fuck up. Don't be a knucklehead. But at no point in time does it cross your mind that your son could die from a traffic stop. Right. You don't think about that. No. You tell him don't mouth off, because the worst thing that could happen is if he's really, really out of control, they're really going to write that ticket, or they might even arrest him. You have to go pick him up. But there is no way they are shooting a kid. That's not going to happen.
A white kid.
A white kid. Yeah. Well, exactly, a kid. But our kid is not seen as a kid. He's seen as a man. He's seen as a threat. Right. So, and my kids, man, if you see my boy, sometimes I feel I can pick him up by the ankle and swing him around because he's so damn skinny. He's tall, but he's just like a little twig. The kid's harmless. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that guy should not raise fear in your heart if you pull him over. But when you look at him, you think first, black man, and you think all the negative things. So yes, I have to have that discussion with my son. My 13-year-old, I don't have to yet, but yes, I'm still doing it. Yeah, I have to tell him, when you go to school, who you're associated with, who you gotta be careful with, I have to still give him certain lessons, because again, there are boys who are shot at 12 years old, 13 years old, because they're seen as grown men. How do you look at that kid and look at that face? But the problem is, Trump did not do that. But here's what Trump is saying when these things happen. He's saying, if you're doing this and you're wearing a badge, you cannot be prosecuted. He's also saying, when their sides fighting over the fact that they took away a young life, he's saying there are good people on each side. How could you say that? Right. And would you still not get elected? Would you still not have your base if you didn't take it to that extreme? Would you still not, you know what I mean, have the power that you need to have? Do you have to be so divisive as a president, as a leader? Do you really have to create that kind of division to get elected? Who are you after? You're endorsed by the KKK, for instance, and instead of you saying, nah, I denounce that, they're still gonna vote for you, right? But you could actually just, you'll take it and just be like, well, that's okay, because there are good people on that side too. Really? Right? So, and that's my issue. That's my main issue, right? So that's why I asked the question, like, were you actually surprised? And so, what are you talked about your worst fears for not just the next 4 years, because that effect is going to be lasting for a very, very long time.
Very long time.
I've already seen videos of that dude that got in the black woman's face, screaming at her with the MAGA hat. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. I saw it. Yeah. It's really fucking scary. Yeah. And he's in her face screaming, and there's people pulling him back. He's about to hit her. Right. He feels that he now has the right
to do so.
He
thought it was in 1964.
This is the age that we're now living in, right? Yeah. And it's going to be that age for a while. It's the age of Trump, and it is what it is. We live in this country. We have to, I'm not saying embrace it, but now we have to deal with it. So what are some of the ways, other than talking to our sons, behaving a certain way? Like if I get pulled over, I already know my wallet's on the dashboard, both my hands on the wheel, my windows are halfway down. I'm not the guy who's going to be like, call your supervisor or whatever, because again, I got responsibilities, man. Right. I'm not scared of them, but if it means that I need to survive this on this little dirt road somewhere, I'm going to survive is my mindset, right?
I'm gonna make it home.
I need to make it home, and I shouldn't have to feel that way if I get pulled over for taking a stop sign.
Since we're talking about this, so I'm from LA, right? So when I grew up, when we got pulled over, you roll your window down and you stick both hands out the window. That way they can't say that you reached for anything because your hands are outside the window. So then when I came to...
Is this an LA rule or just for black people?
Black people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, black people rule. So then when I moved to Atlanta, I think it was Atlanta, I got pulled over.
Yeah.
I rolled down my window. I stuck my hands out the window. And then the cop was like, on the mic, put your hands back in the car. And in my head, I'm like, oh, he wants to shoot me.
Yeah, you're not thinking he's thinking, what the hell's wrong with this guy? You're thinking he wants to shoot me.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he needs a reason.
Fear. Yeah,
right. So I'm like, oh shit. So then I put my hands back in the car, and then he walked up like there was nothing wrong.
Totally chill.
Yeah, walked up totally chill, and I'm like he put my hands back in the car, like this is it. And
our friends who are from a different race don't understand that.
Yeah,
because we all have friends that we work with, colleagues, people that we're close to. We care about them, they care about us. But when we try to explain this, they can't understand that. They can't relate to that fear. And again, no grown man should have to live through that. No person, but no grown man should have to live through that kind of indignation in a way where you're having to live in fear. You have a job to do. You're here to enforce the law. Totally, do your job, right? I'm not a criminal. I get pulled over. Or if I'm in a situation where someone calls the cops on me because you disagree with what the fuck is going on, what I'm doing, I'm cooking in the park for my kids and you don't like that, or my dog's off, whatever the hell you're calling the cops about, I should be like, yeah, call the cops. When they get here, it's going to be a discussion or whatever. I shouldn't be thinking, shit, the cops are coming. There's a possibility that the person who shows up, even if I'm the one calling the cops, the one that got shot, the one, the mental, the one that had the pot of boiling water, right? So she calls the cops because she is, fearful. She calls the cops. They come to her apartment, right? And 2 guys walk in, and the whole thing's on body cam, clearly having a mental issue. Sonia
Manson.
Where was that at? In Chicago.
How afraid are you for your life?
just taser. You have a taser and a gun.
Walk out and close the door. Be like, this is crazy. Let me call the right people who can deal with this if I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But do I have to shoot her in the face?
No, tase.
Nah, man.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and is there a repercussion? Yeah, it's suspended while investigation. They're doing. So it's that kind of thing is what I'm saying, right? The entitlement, the fearlessness that they now have to feel like we are not in control and we do not own our own bodies. We've gone back to being property and disposable items. And it's terrifying, and we have to talk to our sons about this and explain this to them as well, right? And it's a scary thing. So when we talk to our people and we say, hey, here's our issue, it's because this person that you're supporting is you're not that way, but there's a million people who feel that this is what they've been waiting for. It's now their turn. Their turn at what? You've always had a fucking turn. It's always been.
I know they want their country back.
Yeah, because we took it. I don't, so it's not our country. Like you know what I mean? Like it's insane.
As black men, we need to take the extra step to not give them a reason to do anything. And that's what I tell the youth. Like,
that's so frustrating, though.
It's frustrating, but it's not fair. And it's also like that in the job sector. You know what I'm saying? We have to go the extra mile to be successful. And
even in the neighborhoods that you live in.
Yeah.
Like the neighborhood I just moved in, the neighbors didn't come speak or anything like that for a while until they saw that we were safe.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that you could afford to move into that neighborhood.
Yeah, but now we're safe. Now they want to bring cookies, and I throw all that shit out. I'm not eating.
It took you too long. It took you too long.
We're here 6 months now. You want to bring me some cookies? Fuck you, ain't you?
Jeez.
No, for real. It's like what's the issue really, right? It's like again, first of all, it's like even when you get to the neighborhood, it's like, the fact that you're here is almost even a little surprising. So you must be like, what do you do for work? You know, they want to investigate.
I think my neighbors think I'm selling dope.
Oh, did you play football? You got a band. What team did you play on?
I see you got that ring. Is that NFL?
You know, one thing that I'll say, right? So here's even if you were a Trump supporter, which obviously the majority of America happens to be, right? The good people and the bad people. We know they are extremists, and we know they are very good people, good human beings that, to your point, maybe support him for so many reasons. Maybe it's just all financial, whatever reason is, right? They are voting with their wallets, right? We always hear that. You vote with your wallet, right? My issue and what I found to be challenging was when you advertise it. Because you can still go to the ballot box and do everything secretly. I could think that you're gonna go the opposite way, and you could be all shocked. Like, I don't know what happened. Hey, look at that, Trump won. Oh shit, wasn't me. But but when you advertise it, and when you are like, you got the flag, and you got the MAGA, you got the hat, and you
Trump
got the thing. 2024, take America back. See, here's what bothers me. You have the right to do that. Let's be clear. It's absolutely your right to do that. But I heard this other young man, I'm not going to take credit for it, man. This young man on social media, man, I wish I looked up his name. So he basically says this. If I have an R. Kelly t-shirt on, right, my car is wrapped up with Bill Cosby. In front of my house, I have Harvey Weinstein posters, Diddy hats and flags, right? What will you think of me?
Right. Diddy party.
What will you think of me, right?
You just like good music.
Because Harvey Weinstein makes excellent music, right? Bill Cosby too, right? You'll think, obviously, that this guy is a piece of shit. You'll know that. Let's say one of these people is running for office. Could you really make the distinction by advertising and wrapping yourself with all of that extra shit? Could you really make the distinction and say, well, no, I don't support who they are as people. I don't support their moral values or lack thereof. I just like the fact that they're going to lower my taxes. Even if you felt that way and you're going to go in secret and vote for them, you still wouldn't advertise that because their moral values and who they are
don't align with yours.
It don't align with yours. So you're telling me that everything that Trump says and all his rants and everything he says when he calls countries piece of shit countries, the things that he supports and then the organizations that he supports, you're telling me you're aligning with this because you're advertising and you're flying your flag pretty damn high. And that's the part that doesn't sit well with me.
That's right.
Right? So regardless, again, you have your right to vote any way you want. But you can't tell me that that is the best representation of your party that you could find. Apparently that it is.
I think when people get into groups, they get dumber, right? It's like groupthink, right? Because if you ask them individually, I think most people will go, oh, yeah, you know, yeah, I didn't like how he said that one thing or did that one thing.
But there's always a but.
But,
right.
And then they hit you with the but. Like, it's just that groupthink. Like, if you're... Like, look at mobs or look at like riots. It's like, if you grab one person out and you're like, look, you're probably doing something stupid. Yeah, I know. But we won the game though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people sometimes they get in that group and they just lose their minds.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, what are your plans for coping?
Dual citizenship, sir.
I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
Always have a backdoor option.
Which is, by the way, something that they would rather. There's a lot of people who would be fine with that. They would tell you, well, yeah, if you don't like it, leave it, right? Isn't that the chant that they've been, screaming for a very, very long time? America, love it or leave it.
Go back to where you came from.
Yeah, exactly. So, in that sense, like, truly, what are some practical things? None of us are really leaving in 4 years. Then again, we never know. We didn't expect COVID, right? And then boom, the world changed.
Yeah.
Right? So who knows what's going to happen in the next 4 years? Who knows what's going to happen in February? He takes office and he goes, guess what I'm fucking going to do? And right? So we don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen. I think
that's kind of how he thinks too.
Hey, because he's clearly gotten to a point where he's like, I'm above the law.
Right.
Yeah.
I am, above the law. I can commit crimes. There's this guy, hardcore Trumper in political office. My wife was showing me this video where he's like the Attorney General of New York, who's going after him for his, prosecute him for the things that he's done, his crimes. And she's like, you better sit your fat ass down. Like, he's on TV saying this because, you better stop this shit after going after Trump because now we coming after you. Do you see the mindset?
Yeah.
Forget the law.
Yeah.
Forget what's right. Forget what's wrong. Forget all of that.
Yeah, they're above the law.
You're above the law. And now he's like, hey, and he's calling her sweetheart. It's like, listen, sweetheart. The excuse or the flip side is they're saying, we've gotten soft as a people. Everything is politically correct. We need to go back to just saying it like it is. Saying it like it is good old days. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason that things change.
But they're only letting that happen to one side of the fence.
Correct.
If both sides of the fence can do that, maybe a little bit, but I can't get pulled over by the cops and fuck you. You're not going to jail. I do that. Oh yeah, motherfucker. Matter of fact, you know what? You're not going to jail. Yeah. I'm gonna kill your ass on the side of the street,
right?
And I'm gonna send you 6 feet under.
Again, back to the question. Practical plans.
Just stack your chips,
ways
man.
to cope.
Just stack your chips. Because, it's going to get financially better, quote unquote, for a lot of people. So just save as much money as you can, make as much money as you can, because in 4 years, it might be completely different, right? Because what America typically does is it'll lean, and then it'll just fall in that direction. And then the people go, that's just crazy. Bush. Crazy ass Bush. Remember how everyone hated Bush and how crazy and racist he was? Mm-hmm. And then it just fell over there, and then what do we get after Bush? The exact opposite. We got Obama, right? And then everyone loved Obama. He got a second term. Then it was like, it fell on the other side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we love to be in the middle, but it's like sometimes if it gets too extreme, then we like overcorrect. And then we overcorrect, right?
It makes sense.
So
I can see that.
So I think people are like, they were just overcorrecting. So I would say, get as much money as you can, take advantage of the situation. It's going to be a shitty situation for the next 4 years. Just make it through, and then we'll just see what happens. Because he can't get elected again. Well,
no, he can't.
Now he can't.
He may change that shit.
That's my
Now
point.
he can't.
That's my point.
Again.
Right now, the law is that he cannot.
Yeah.
But we're
And
clearly
he has enough
seeing,
Supreme Court.
dude, he overturned Roe versus Wade. We grew up just with just what it is, right? And obviously, it sounds almost like archaic to think about the fact that at one point, women weren't allowed to do that, regardless of the situation. It could be rape, it could be incest. They weren't allowed to do that, and they had to have that child. And to think that that's what they've gone back to because he's got the Supreme Court in his corner because he's stacked his judges, he's handpicked them, and right. So because that is where you make the law. This is where you control the country.
Yeah.
If you get to put these 12 men and women in those seats. By the way, did you put a single woman in the seat? No. Right? He had like 3 picks, I think.
Let's not talk about if RBG would have just stepped down. Man,
it would have been over. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you control everything that way. Who's to say he's not changing that law?
Yeah.
Who's to say he doesn't lobby for it and says, hey, we need to change the law that I can only serve 2 terms? Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, it's a whole dictatorship.
Yeah.
The age of Trump goes from, I want to say 12 years, because it's going to be 12 years, right? Because those 4 years that Biden was running, we still lived under the age of Trump. There wasn't a day that went by where it wasn't a MAGA situation where we didn't deal with certain things because the after effects were still there. Yeah. And he rallied the troops and they're back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 12 years. And we don't know what's going to happen, because I honestly can say I don't know what's going to happen. Because if you could change the fact that when I was going through social studies in high school, I learned that you could not be elected president if you were convicted of a crime, if you were a convicted felon. That was obviously not the case. What else can change?
Can he be vice president? Because him,
that was my question.
He'll just flip-flop it. He'll just be like, okay, JD, you can be president.
Right. But
right.
I mean,
you can get your 8 years, but we know what's going on.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you can't go, we can't go like storm the Capitol.
No, we can't.
Right?
No, we can't.
Nah, we can't go storm in any government building.
Not that I would. Not that I would. Where's the camera, goddamn? But listen, but if we did, we all know how that would end.
Yeah, that would
These
end
guys are now heroes.
Yeah.
You need to just shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble. All right, that's it. Okay, so stack your chips, shut up and dribble.
Do what you got to do. Take care of your family. Take care of yourself. Pray for the best.
Yeah.
I think for myself, I have white friends, black friends, during this time right now, I like to educate who black people are. Kind of weird for me to say that, but during this time, I like to talk about the entitlement stuff is going to be developing and a division in the country, and that's my opinion. But yeah,
I was gonna say, but the crazy part to that is you probably have already been doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I have to be like when I was in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And someone's like, oh, you're the first black person I've ever seen in real life. Sure. Now I have to be the perfect black person.
Correct.
Because if I make a mistake, now this is all black people.
Because they already see what they televise, already have them fearful and scared and depict the worst images of us.
Yeah.
And D.L. Hurley said this. He said the worst place a black person can be is in a white man's imagination.
God damn.
So the images that they put on television, and that's what they see.
Right.
So it's going to take more people like us to pass the word and let people know. No, all black people are not like that.
Yeah.
I hate when I have to say, well, not all black people are like this. It's like, no, the majority aren't, bro. Not just the ones in the bad neighborhoods that you might have visited. And by the way, the reason they are that way is more of a socioeconomic reality than anything else. Because I've seen
the white people act just like that.
Just like that, given the exact same situation. Right? Yeah. I've seen white niggas, I was scared to go into that neighborhood. Like, I'm not going near this motherfucker. So, exactly, let's call it what it is. Right? So, I hate to have to explain that. I hate to have to explain, why I sound the way I sound, why I talk a certain way, or...
Oh, you don't sound black.
Yeah, exactly. Or be complimented because I've used the fucking regular basic word that you're impressed by.
Yeah.
Where
you're not supposed to know that.
Where are you from again? Where are you from again? And then I gotta be like, well, I'm from a whole different country. Well, that explains it. Well, no, it doesn't explain shit. It's like,
but you're one of the good ones, Stephane.
And again, what's the majority, right? Now, when there is an economic factor involved, and then people are surprised, so people are just like not doing well, just like anyone in any race, anywhere in the world are going to act a certain way. And if you keep them in a certain, virtual prison based on systems, and that's a whole different discussion. And I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to claim to be, right? But it's evident that that's the situation. If you put people in that situation, they will do whatever they can. Then that's what they do. It doesn't make it right. Yeah. But then when you look at the person, because that is televised, that is advertised, that is shown,
3 times a day on the local news.
Exactly. So when you see that all the time, then in your imagination, then this is what it is. I mean, hell, there's a reason that we've all door knocked, right? We've all been door to door salespeople at some point, right? Some of us, very recently. Some of us spent years doing it. I did it for close to 12 to 15 years of going door to door. I've had the cops call on me a lot, not because it was illegal, not because it was no soliciting neighborhood. Because fucking Tyler was next to me, and I didn't have
the description.
I mean, I've had it to where it's happened, and I'm just like, yeah, I know what happened. They would pull up, and I would be like, yep. I walk right over to the car. I'm like, I know, someone called you, and I would show them a permit. I would show them what I was there doing, and the fact that I had the right to be there, and or at least I was authorized to be there. And then they would say, I've had one cop apologize to me, white cop. He was just like, dude, I'm sorry. I know, but if you don't leave, they're gonna keep calling me. And I'm like, am I breaking the law? He's like, you're not. But as a favor to me, could you just go?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I was like,
so the way that you presented yourself, that's what we need to do during this period of time is just present yourself to the best possibility of represent the black man.
You know what you're saying, though, Chuck? I hear you, and I hear the sentiment, and I respect it.
Yeah.
You're almost telling me, or at least I could be interpreting it that way, right? How you act. We have to be twice as good, right? Naturally, I'm just that person anyway, right? This is the way I'm going to act. Yes, we shouldn't run up to the car and be like, what the fuck, man? I should,
Well, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Don't be that guy that says, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't be
But
that
the fact
guy.
that you had to, here's what I'm saying, and I know your heart. I know where you're coming from, right? And you would tell the 20-year-old kid that you're training at your company the exact same thing. Hey, be safe, son. This is what you need to do. We got a team of salespeople. We're going to send out whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that you really need to pull the black ones aside and say, hey, listen.
Right?
Is in itself sad, is what I'm saying.
But that's what it is.
It is what it is. You have to, exactly. The fact that you have to be like, hey, well, we have to present ourselves a certain way. I will present myself the fucking human way.
Yeah.
And what's normal and within a certain basically, I don't want to have to be emasculated as a man. I don't want to have, you can't, take away my dignity in a way where what we have to say to each other, to our sons and to each other is we have to act a certain way. We have to allow this to happen. We have to bow our heads and we have to, as my grandmother used to say, close your nose and drink this stinky ass water.
Yeah.
Right? We have to accept it and be okay with it. And that's the part that bothers me. That's the part that...
How long has slavery been over with?
Like,
maybe I think next year it'll be over.
Man, 2024, we're still having to...
we just got our rights.
Yeah.
80 years ago, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So the good news is like
These motherfuckers dying now. No.
I'm being
I figured you were gonna say
every generation gets more tolerant.
Yeah.
Right. Every generation seems to be.
Do you think? Speaking of that, do you think that's like a desperate cry to grip and hold on to something that they're losing?
Yes.
Because it's like. Because here's what you're saying, right? We're saying every generation gets more tolerant, but I saw less racism and less bullshit in 2000 and 2005, 2000. I'm seeing in 2020s.
Yeah,
There was
they're
less
fighting.
social media in 2000 than there is in 2024. You're getting less information.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think as, like I was saying, more people are older people, because being from LA, right? I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Georgia. They're like, you're going to the South?
Yeah.
Are you going to be okay? Like, you're going to the South. Like, if I meet an old black person and an old white person, like, which one's more racist? They're both racist, right?
Yeah.
Like because the black guy's just as racist because, like, he lived through it.
Yeah.
Like, he lived through like what real racism is.
And they really hate.
Yeah, right.
I can tell you some names that they used to call.
Exactly, right? So it's like when those people who live through like real racism start going away, it's like, oh, it was racist because when I was at the Four Seasons, like they took the white couple in front of me.
Yeah.
Bitch, we couldn't even go to the Four Seasons. Like, you would have got shot walking into the Four Seasons.
But
60 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting better every few decades. Like in 100 years, like the dumb shit that they're going to be going through is going to be way different than the stuff that we're going through now.
Y'all did that?
Yeah, and then the stuff that happened like 100 years, from today. So it's gonna get better. We just
But
have
to
to
your
wait
point,
it
they're
out.
fighting for that.
Yeah.
They know they're losing it.
And it's funny you say that because I was with I was with a company I worked for a few years back. One of our regional managers came in. It was a regional manager, branch manager, the general manager, and myself. Love those guys. Super cool, right? They're white. I'm black. We're going out to dinner. The regional manager's getting ready to spend a lot of money on us because we're doing a great job. And we're going to this place, and he's like, yeah, it's this really cool place. It's like a speakeasy, like great drinks, great food. It's like, it really reminds me of like, back in the day, like times were really good. And I was like,
For who?
good for who?
Right.
And then he was like he realized like what he like, yeah. And he just got quiet, right? And then I let it go. I cracked the joke. I let it go because he didn't say it with malice. It was just times were easier. And
Yeah.
For you,
Yeah.
not for me though.
Yeah.
So I mean, like 50 years from now, 100 years from now, like it's just going to be different. People are going to be fighting over.
I believe that too.
Stuff that's going to mean a lot to them.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the stuff that we're fighting over today, which is definitely not the stuff that they were fighting over in the 1890s.
Yeah.
Right. It's just going to be. I think it'll be better, but as far as like a division, race wise,
I hope so. I pray so.
but they'll be divided over dumb shit. Like, I can't believe you don't like President Gaga.
Right. She'd make a great president.
Yeah.
Everyone wear fucking costumes all the time.
It would
It'd be
be
great.
You. Just be you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good
Well,
deal.
I think that we should try and leave it on a positive note, right? Because the future is not bleak.
No.
Right? So it's not bleak. I think that there are things that we can look forward to. So that's why I asked I guess my question was, but what is a positive message? We've lived long enough. We've lived through a lot of racism. So what is a kind of way that we, what's a message?
It's gonna get better. It's just over. It's gonna take some time. It's not gonna happen. It may not be amazing. Like, think about when we were kids, and someone's like, "You could be anything you want to be when you grow up." But in the back of your head is like, "I can never be president. I can be anything but president." Right? And now it's like, shit, we almost had a black female president.
Yeah.
Right? So we might get surprised. Probably not in the immediate future, but I mean, we're moving in the right direction. Maybe it's not as fast as we'd like it to go, because once again, if we go too far, they're going to overcorrect.
Overcorrect, yeah.
Right?
I like to hope and pray that that it will. I'm in my heart of hearts, I want to say that it will, but I don't see it happening in my lifetime.
I'll say this.
You might get surprised.
Overall, myself, with my experience, and we've all done this because, again, we've been in the service industry. We've been in a million homes talking to people. I will tell you overall that people, individuals are good. It's the mob that is scary.
Yeah.
Right? Can't tell you how many homes I've knocked on a few years ago, down to this day, working with my team, etc., where I would pull up and it's a Trump flag, and immediately I'm going to put this person into
this box.
into this box, whatever. And bro, it's not even close to being like that.
That's right.
Right? They're still going to vote against me having certain rights, but at the end of the day,
was nice to you.
But again, still wholeheartedly, when I go into the home, man, they are good people. They are like, it's crazy to say that and still think about that person who would still give immunity to a cop who would shoot me in the face later on that day.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that. So it's like, it's conflicting.
Yeah.
You know, it's really kind of like, this is what it is. But
It's
again,
our version
I think
of double consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I mean. Like, to me, that hope exists still. With that note, guys, I think it's time to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening to our show, Manhood Matters, where we discuss these real issues that plague us every single day. We can't wait for you guys to come back and talk to us again. Listen to us next week. Listen, subscribe to the show. Give us a like. Give us a review. We appreciate you. All right, over and out. Let's get it. Peace.
Entrepreneurs, climb real talk, echoes and flying time, experts and friends, powerful blend, tackling issues that never end.